Okay, so even though I wanted to, not spend too much time on topics because we do have the Spotify rap to get to. Spoiler alert: this topic actually blends in with that one, and I think it's a topic that we bumped into. Um, so I think it might be some level back and forth, but we'll just take it one step at a time. Obviously, we had passionate and or just very critical views on when it comes to music and things of that nature. So we'll just go through it. It's interesting how like this video is Timbaland reacting to something that DJ Akademiks is saying based off watching something from Kai Cenat's stream. Like everything's like react, and now we're gonna when we put out the video, it's gonna be us
Yeah.
reacting to Tim, reacting to Akademiks, reacting to Kai Cenat. Everything is reactception. But
It's
anyway,
too meta.
so a little thing. This was posted by Timbaland. And again, it's a reaction based off and honestly, to spoiler, Timbaland's not really gonna say too much, which you got to kind of just lead into the implication here. But it's academics with some advice for artists. Let's see what the brother had to say.
Something. And this is where I think the music industry is going to have to turn to. Start selling a product again, all of y'all. Y'all got to sell a product. Sell something with the music. Because people are starting to realize music is now a passive form of entertainment. Let me tell you why. An active form of entertainment is that you're watching a movie. Your eyes, your ears, and your brain are probably consumed with it, right? Passive is, oh, I could do this while doing this. For example, you're playing 2K and you have music in the background. Music is secondary, 2K is primary. These days, more and more, we're seeing that people are looking at music to be like, oh, music is something we do while we do that. Oh, we're about to go play 2K or Call of Duty. Yeah, music is in the background, but if it wasn't for what we're doing, we wouldn't be playing music, which means it's secondary. And that's the problem, if you ask me. Because I think the listening habits of fans have changed, and fans having this, oh, I just want to consume this artist stuff. No, like they've changed it up a bit. You get what I'm saying?
So yeah, um, like I said, Timbaland reposted this and just had to capture the message. Again, he didn't say too much of his views on it, whether he agrees or not. But I think based off of it, it seems like his facial expressions didn't lend towards uh, academics tweaking. So I mean, again, this is more so an inference, but you take it as you take it. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna come on here and say, I'm gonna be honest. These sound like I don't want to say fact because that's in stone, but I tend to agree with this line of logic, and it kind of is interesting because I've been thinking about it. I'll talk about y'all. I've been thinking about like not recently, but in my recent years of like just kind of analyzing my music consumption, and one, I definitely made it change, but two, I would say the time I listen to music is definitely when I'm engaging with something else. I think the primary place where I listen to music these days is in the gym and in the whip. Um, and I don't know all too much about the first part about like if artists need to do something differently because of this dynamic, but I think it is a dynamic that exists, and if I'm conscious enough to realize that it exists for me, a person that I would say still thoroughly enjoys music, still thoroughly enjoys and appreciates artists for making music, but just understanding I'm not necessarily inclined to just turn on an album and that's going to be my like academics was describing it, my primary um like thing I'm putting my consumption towards. It's going to be while I'm doing something. It's going to be while I'm doing something else, cleaning, working out, etc. Um. So I mean, yeah, based off what was articulated, I'm curious to know. And to me, honest, it makes a lot of sense, and I kind of have an idea where you guys are going to go, but maybe you guys can still agree with it more in a more general sense. But what are your thoughts on this theory, so to speak? Do you think it sounds like it holds weight or is credible? Or do you think is it not true for you, or do you think it's just not necessarily true for in general? What do you think, Ace?
Um, I generally agree with everything academics just said. Just also in general, like he does have uh a very good finger on the pulse of like the music industry, and so like I think at the very least that is one area where he's able to speak knowledgeably on. But like the points he's making about music being having become more of a passive activity is, I mean, I'm sure like anybody could really agree with that, being having it laid out so plainly. So it's I don't think there's really up for debate. Like majority of people listening to music do listen to it passively. um uh, as far as whether artists should do something differently because of that, that's certainly up for debate. I don't know, like I'm not sure what your product would be that you would provide along with the music that would force it to become like an active thing again. Because you already have like uh lyrics, you already have the ability to sell physical copies of the music, you merchandise, like um all of that is, yeah, able to be like quote unquote packaged with the music, but that's not necessarily gonna force somebody or encourage somebody to be an active listener. Maybe there is something
If
that will oh, go ahead.
if I can jump in for a bit, and it's interesting because we were actually it was me and Ghost. We were actually talking about this a bit earlier. Um, I think, and the reason why academics kind of even go into this point is it has to do with like the promotion or the way they disseminate their music. If that makes sense. And if you notice on the screen, like they're reacting to like clip of the screen with Kai Cenat and Lil Uzi Vert. And I think the reason why they're talking about this is one of the things that Kai Cenat has kind of done with the stream, especially when he's doing these longer streams, he's brought artists on, and you get to see you get to see a artist in like a streaming environment, like they're playing their music and they're being themselves. It's kind of like an interview, but way more fun, and they're doing activities.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
I think that's kind of an example of what they're trying to articulate. Like artists are gonna have to move towards. It can't just be like drop the music, put it on streaming services,
Oh,
and go about your day. Even though we see artists like Kendrick be incredibly successful with that, but it's got to be a bit more. You mentioned a really good idea when it comes to merchandise, like give people a reason to go out and still be invested in the artist. But it has to be a little bit more show and tell, because if it's just the telling, then that's going to be a secondary thing. Which I mean, maybe it'll be later on in the conversation. I don't even know if that's a completely bad thing. I guess that's element of this. But yeah, just to answer your question, like what could be changed? Okay,
yeah.
artistry.
I guess I get that. It's just that um, I feel like the solution of something like what Kai Cenat does, it still doesn't turn music listening into an active thing. Like you could say,
No, it does
okay,
because
people just got put on.
you're watching the stream. Like imagine your favorite artist just does their own stream, and they play their music.
True, yeah, you get the. I guess you get the streaming revenue from that.
Not just from a financial standpoint. Obviously, that would be benefit. But like I mean, depending on what you're doing on the stream, obviously, if it's costing that stream, there are also going to be a lot of. We already know the volume level of some of these streams, but it's
Yeah.
more it's more engaging, especially if you got lit people in there.
You couldn't just have the
Yeah,
stream
but
on
I'm
in the
saying,
background like you would the music,
And that's obviously a
and also have the inconvenience of ads unless you're sub to their channel or
Yes,
whatever.
now we get into the whole thing of like streamers should, in theory, be. Sorry, artists should be streaming as well, so they get that revenue and things of that nature. But um, I'm just it's an example of one a method of which like an artist can be more engaging, not just putting it on again a streaming service and then just stream it.
Yeah, I guess when I was thinking of a solution to what he was, to the way he posed it, which is, nobody, like, people generally don't just put an album on and that's all they're doing is listening to the album. Like, even if you, for or the way I see the stream helping would be stream, like, if we're just talking in terms of money and trying to get people to give you money for the project you put out, then with the stream it would be the engagement with the actual stream
Yep.
for however long you stream, um and then also the eyes on it as well. So like Kai Cenat is putting people on to the artist that he has on his stream. So now you have more listeners more listeners of your music because of that. But again,
Right.
that's still not turning the general listening of that artist into an active thing, because the people who find that artist on the stream, find out about that artist, say they like them, they're still just going to go back to the passive listening after. They're going to get to start streaming their start listening to that artist stuff on the streaming service and put it on while they're playing 2K. Like,
Yeah.
it still doesn't directly like change how people primarily engage with the music.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone's saying it would eliminate, like it would bring music to becoming the forefront, and now that's the only way people listen or engage with it. It would be like a supplement thing, so to speak.
Mhm.
And I also think music videos also, I think their intention is to accomplish this because if you're watching a music video, that's again akin to if you're watching a show or something like that. Honestly, yeah, some people like, or I don't know about, I'll speak for myself. Me, I don't really care for music videos, so that doesn't really work on me. But if you put out a dope music video, I'm pretty sure people will engage with it. I don't
Yeah, but
know.
even that
Did
is,
people like to not like just music video, or was it really just the diss?
I didn't even watch the video. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, just
I didn't know it had a video, to be
it's
honest.
it's just Kendrick
Oh wait, no,
for
not like
walk
us. Oh, my
walking
bad, my
all
bad, my bad.
for
I'm
walking
thinking
all
about.
throughout all through LA basically.
No, yeah, yeah. I was thinking of the first track, the initial diss track. But yeah, not like us was. I mean, that was a crazy video, but I feel like you watch a video once and that's it. Like, you don't you don't replay the video because
Not if it's dope.
I don't
I
know.
don't. I don't
Maybe it's
want to
just
get
a
too.
me thing then, but
I don't
yeah.
get. I mean, like I said, I don't really care about music videos either. I don't have to get off too off do you did you watch any like music videos for like the alternative bands back in the day? Like did I was gonna say Tool, but at the time
I
music
hated
videos.
tool videos. Tool videos are insane.
I was gonna say APC. Maybe that was more modern, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I did like the Judith APC music video, but I don't know. I feel like music for music,
what
it
about
was always the music. Like, that's the more
what
important thing.
about
So
was there like a music video tie-in for Daredevil and what was the was it an Evanescence
Evanescent,
song?
yeah, yeah, Bring Me to Life. Oh no, they did another song. My Immortal. That was on the
Okay,
Daredevil.
my apologies.
Yeah,
And
there was.
I'm
Yeah,
not trying
yeah.
to get too far. I'm just trying to. I'm pretty sure there are some music videos that you specifically gave a couple of spins because of like there's something in about it that just made it interesting.
I think more so than the music video was the AMVs.
Oh, now you now you gonna bring back nostalgia for me, man. Man, I wish
That's
YouTube. I wish YouTube or back in the day it was sometimes it was even Google Videos or not Venmo. What was
yeah.
it? Vimeo or whatever it's called. I wish I
Yep.
had my history to go back and see what those were like. But anyway, no, you bring up some really good points. And again, I don't know if the goal here is to, if we do agree with that the theory, to see what people could do, artists could do to make listening to music the primary. Um, how do you describe it? Primary consumption? Uh, um, I guess
Mm.
more so it would be like, how can we ensure that there is another point? Because if it's just the secondary means of consumption, then I mean, it's just all in the background.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I'll just say one more thing.
yeah, go
Like
ahead.
I have thought about how artists could at least get their name out there more, and to me, like I still feel like the primary method right now is engagement on social media. Like just seeing how some artists have been able to blow up off of like one song on TikTok, and then also that one band has that like Lord Forgive Me song that blew up on TikTok.
Yes.
Like if you look at their I think they have a YouTube page.
Yeah, I know
I mean they
exactly
probably
what
have
you're talking.
but
Yeah.
yeah, they have like tons of memes that they
They
created
game the
with this
system.
song.
I didn't
Yes,
realize it
yes,
was them posting it, which
yes.
makes it funny, but
Yeah. I think that's the type of stuff like I think that's the type of stuff that you gotta do nowadays to get traction
Maybe it's
and
because I'm fake old, but
quick.
I kind of resent the fact that what you're saying is 100% true. And it doesn't. It's not always like a totally like miserable thing. Because I've literally bumped into a
Yeah, it's
TikTok,
not yeah, right.
bumped into a TikTok, and now I'm actually bumping that song.
Yep.
It
Yeah,
just
I
sounds.
don't even think it's inherently a bad thing.
Ugh,
It's
come on,
just the way
TikTok.
it is now.
Ugh. Anyway, but no, you bring up. You actually are providing some solutions that I think artists may want to. It would benefit artists to think about. Um, what about you, Ghost? What do you think of this theory? Um, I feel as if you might be one of the last. What's that expression? Last some Mohican sons, like last folks that maybe do.
Last of the Mohicans.
Oh, what did I say? Mohican sons.
Oh my
Mohegans.
god. I'm
It's
stealing
actually
that,
mad
bro.
funny.
I like that.
I'm stealing that
Last of
100%.
Mohican sons. I like that.
Oh my
Last of
god.
the last of uh the type of person that would just sit down and listen to an album. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe even you out of that vibe. What do you think of this theory? Do you think it's true? Think there's anything artists should do about it?
I think what he's saying is accurate if you're looking at it from a business or money making perspective. And like he's right in that a lot of the times, most of the time nowadays, people always will listen to music while doing something else or have it on the background noise or vibing or whatever. And I, again, what he's saying is accurate in that there's less and less active engagement with music. But is it something that is? I don't think it's something that's necessarily fixable because, like, I guess real quick to speak to how I listen to music. Like, funnily enough, a lot of the times when I'm listening to music, I am also doing something while I'm doing it or while I'm listening. Um, Sometimes I will just sit down and listen to an album, nothing else. But a lot of times I'll be working or reading a book or eating. But
I was just about to
the
ask. Do
difference
y'all listen to music while y'all read?
sometimes
Very-
it depends.
Mm.
But for me, 99% of the time while I'm listening to music, it's always the primary thing, which is the difference. And I'm always focused on that more so than whatever I'm doing, whether it's working or reading. Reading is kind of 50-50. It really depends. Like I'll read kind of like less intensive or interactive books while
Mm.
I'm listening to music because it's if I want to focus on it more, then I'll turn the music off. But like I view music in a way I like to experience music is just as an art form purely, and with that in mind, that's why it's always a primary thing and why I enjoy listening to it, much enjoy active listening because just having an album on the background and not, I'll think about, oh, what was that track I heard a couple songs ago? Can't even think of it. I hate that, and it kind of, I don't want to say disgusts me because that's dramatic, but it's really distasteful to me because it feels like literally just put on static or drone music and you achieve the same effect. But all artists don't, if you're doing it for your livelihood, they don't have that same luxury to be able to um, just make music and hope that people look at it and experience it as an art form, because that kind of would lead into more album sales, more discussion when people go into your shows. Whereas if it's just on in the background, it's background music, people aren't going to have any emotional attachment to it. And if you do need to capture that attention, I don't, I really don't think there's a lot of options, because like literally everything in today's society is becoming like you're doing something while you're doing something else.
That's
And
facts.
that's mostly because of how easy it is to use your phone, watch streams, have some type of device available to you. Like
People be
he
having their
did,
phone, TV, laptop, tablet, all on the same time.
yeah, and like academics mentioned, like if you have your um if you're watching a show or something, it's occupying more of your senses, and it's usually the primary thing, which is more so. It's definitely more so that than music, but like I can't think of the last time I watched a movie or a TV show. There are exceptions, but a lot of the times, like I'll have my phone right there, and I'm going to check my phone during boring scenes, or, and it's not something that I'm like I'm
Not if you go to the theater.
proud of necessarily. That's why I like going to the movies for uh movies that I want to experience like that. Because it's more of a purist look at it than if you can get distracted. But it's like every single thing is become permeated with that, and it's kind of unavoidable. Like the music video thing you said is kind of, it's accurate in that people are going to be watching a music video, occupying more of your senses, going to be more engagement. But after that first time, unless it's a great video, you're usually not going to be revisiting it. And
I mean, I think there are
Hmm.
some elements of a music video that can make you want to watch it again.
yeah, I mean, I'm not saying like there's no music video I have. Like, there's plenty of music videos that I've like, damn, that's dope when I'll watch it again. But again, it's primarily because of the music. Like, I can't
Yeah.
think of
Yeah, obviously.
any music videos that I'm just watching. Like, wow, the video is great, and the song is mid, and I'm
No,
still enjoying
that
it.
don't exist. I don't
But
think.
if
It
I had to
exists.
name something, I guess that I think would contribute or maybe help drive engagement with the music more is it, not even something that necessarily individual artists could do, but what I've been hoping for and yelling for years now is some type of platform that, I mean, someone like Twitter and YouTube comments and stuff like that, you can actively discuss in live time songs or albums, whatever that you're experiencing, but with it's only specifically focused on music discussion. And like I think SoundCloud has a cool feature where you can make live comments on in on a track, and people will see the comment like at the point that you made it, and you can reply to the comments, stuff like that. That's cool, but it's not really a live time thing, so it's, you just make the comment and you go about your day. But if there was something that kind of drove engagement more, where this like people actively discussing the album or what they liked about it, stuff like that, I think that could contribute, because the more you're discussing it with other people, the more you're actively experiencing the music and the discussion with the music. And I think that could lead into more of like, you're not just have it on the background and you're not ignoring it while you're listening to it, but you're actively thinking and discussing.
Hmm.
But I don't know. That's, again, it's not something that any artist could just like, oh, I'm gonna put out a platform. Like it need to be something that gets traction, which is
It's actually not a bad
kind of
idea,
easy. But
even though it's a staple. With the way people don't like or aren't completely satisfied with Twitter/X, it would be kind of interesting and maybe even dope if there was a platform that was more music and or artist focused.
I mean, I've said this before. We had this, and Spotify bought it, and I don't know what happened to it since.
Oh
But there
shoot!
was an app. There was an app called Soundwave that I used to have. I can't even remember all the features, like exactly how it worked now. But like I remember that I was able to create like almost like chat rooms
Chat
based
rooms.
on the artists that I listened to, and like I had rap oriented one where like it was me and a few other people that would just go back and forth about different rap albums that we recently got into. Like we had active discussions. I had like a more shoegaze oriented one. Um and like it was great. Like it's exactly
that
what you
sounds
were saying, Ghost.
exactly like what I
It's
would like.
ex-
Exactly.
it's exactly what you were saying. Like there was a ton of engagement, um, uh, ton of discussion, like a lot of music discovery. Like it was exactly what you're describing is what this app was. And Spotify bought it, and I don't know what they did with it, but they definitely didn't incorporate it into Spotify.
Damn.
Yeah, that just really makes me upset.
It's a bit off topic, but think about mentioning. You mentioned Spotify. You know what's kind of interesting? I don't know how new it is. It might have been there a man long time ago, and I obviously don't use streaming service, so I wouldn't know. But when we listen to music, sometimes y'all notice how like the stuff going on the side with the artist. I wonder if while we into some of these theory discussion, I wonder if that was an attempt to make listening to music a bit more engaging. Because I think, like we're saying, if when things making use of more than one of your senses, I think you that is in a sense making it more engaging. Obviously, I don't know if it'll hold
Yeah,
true
yeah, yeah.
for an
You're talking
entire.
about like talking about how Spotify has like the GIF, the basically the GIFs going on in the
Yeah,
background
like the
while
little video
listening.
elements of it. Obviously, I
Yeah,
don't think
yeah,
that's gonna hold somebody's attention for a whole album or even a whole song. But I think it's more attention than not. You might see that artist and maybe start to poke around, look at the production credits and all these type of things. So yeah, I don't know. Definitely, I actually think you guys would give some damn credible ideas. That's interesting. And I think, yeah, this in a whole, I don't think is necessarily the worst thing ever. I think maybe you can make the case music becoming a secondary form of consumption does hurt some artists because I mean if you're just bumping artists in the background just to have something playing, maybe you'll be less inclined to go back to that. Maybe that's the thing. So maybe some artists that make music that are just kind of like not very standoutish, just kind of all sound the same and blend together. Maybe that could hurt some artists. But I mean, if it sounds good in the background, maybe somebody's still inclined to whenever they're just doing their thing, taking a stroll. Maybe that's the music they would put on, even if they can't really recount what specific songs from that artist that they like. Um,
I just remember the vibe they like.
Basically.
That's
Um,
sad, bro.
but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's a super moral story here. I think I don't know. People are definitely going to, depending on how much they like the craft and how pure they are, they're gonna interact with or engage something more or less like in the foreground opposed to the background. And I think everyone does have that one or two artists who are when they do put out a project or when they put out something that you would be interested in. I think you give it your damn near full attention. I think we all have an artist like that. Um, like my last point, I don't know. I guess I'll ask when y'all are listening to a new project and you're trying to assess whether you like it or not. Do you make is that an example when you kind of go out your way to kind of like? I mean, we all got stuff to do, so maybe we're like cleaning or like working or something, but you kind of open yourself up a little bit more. I was listening to the new 070 Shake album, and I remember I was like cleaning while I was listening, and I don't know, I found myself like literally just kind of like just while I'm folding clothes or while I'm doing stuff, I'm just like looking, I'm just like checking, looking at it, like giving myself like, oh, okay, let me really listen to this. I don't know, can y'all
Mhm.
relate to that, or am I tweaking?
Yeah, I think I definitely make an effort. There's certain artists where it's a drop everything. I'm listening to this album at midnight when it drops, and that's when I'm just sitting in front of my speakers going through the entire album. And there's some artists or some music that I'm not as familiar with, or I don't have as high expectations, where maybe I am reading or I'm cleaning and I listen to it and I'm like, wait, hold up. And I just gotta stop what I'm doing and like, yeah, this is kind of this deserves my full attention. But on the flip side, like if I am cleaning or something, or like if I got the dishwasher going in the background, then I'll play music that I'm like I've already heard before. I just want to hear it again, or I'm not in that like discovery phase, and it's not as important for me to get like the pure uninterrupted listening experience, where that's where kind of like my focus will dwindle a little bit. But yeah, I can relate to what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. For me, it's pretty rare that I just dedicate time specifically to listening to even a new project from an artist that I um I follow intently. Like um for the most part, I listen to music in the same way across the board. Like doing something else. Like it is truly the what Ack is saying or Ack was saying. It's more so passive for me. Except like what you were saying, Quest, when something catches my attention, then um if I'm not doing something important, like I will I will, you know, focus in
Yeah,
and pay
yeah.
more attention. But other than that, it's pretty much a passive thing. Um, I think rap albums are the exception where I kind of have to. I kind of have to listen to or pay more attention to that because of the lyrics. So like when Kendrick dropped, it was pretty much the only thing I was able to do was listen to the album. Regardless of my actual level of enjoyment of that.
Funnily enough, I actually listened to that one while I was working.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all that came out. Makes sense. Oh yeah, I'm not mad at it. Dope discussion, a productive one, even at that. Ain't mad at that. Unless there's anything else, we can move on to the next topic.